Hey guys, how you doing? This is Skid with another Raid Shadow Legends video. So I'll just get right into it. I'm going to talk about the fusion, which just came out this morning. And as you can see here at the portal, there's a little pop-up of the legendary champion that we have the opportunity to get. That's kind of nice for beginners that might not know if a fusion is going on. It kind of just helps keep that in the back of everyone's mind. So just a little quality of a life thing there that Plarium has decided to add. Alright, so the first thing I noticed whenever I looked at this fusion this morning is there are a lot of really good champions in both the rarity and also the epics are very good. So today's video I'm kind of just going to talk a little bit about some of the really good characters that you can get, and whether or not if you want to fuse this legendary, you can still use the champions that you actually get from the different events. Either the rare or the epics. So I'll just start with one of the most well-known rares that people use even in endgame. A lot of clan boss team, dragons teams use her, and that is Frozen Banshee right here. So I will go to the index and I will show her to you guys. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of her, and some of you probably got her like I did from the last battle pass. She's a fantastic champion, does millions of damage to the clan boss. So we'll just start with her A1 right here. Alright, so this one attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has an 80% chance, booked up to 100 with skill books, of placing a 5%, so the strong percent, poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under a poison sensitivity debuff, and you'll see later on she does have that in her kit. The A2 not used whenever she is on auto for pretty much any content. I see her use it every once in a while in the dragon lair whenever she is facing the mobs, but I've only seen it 1 or 2 times, so this is not used a lot by her. Attacks one enemy, fills the turn meter of all allies by 2% for each debuff on the target. So let's say a champion has 10 debuffs on them. That would be a total of 20% for each of your allies. Not super great. It's 4 turn cooldown, can be booked down to 3, but she's not known for that skill. This is the skill that nobody else has in the game, well, this debuff at least. Poison sensitivity. So attacks one enemy and places a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns, and that can be booked down to a 3 turn cooldown. This move is fantastic for clan boss guys. Frozen Banshee can put out tons of damage on the clan boss with this skill, right next to her A1 as well. So she puts this down, and then you have a counterattacker like Skull Crusher, Martyr, Valkyrie, any of them will work, and she will use her A1s on the counterattacks, and she will put out 2 poisons for every counterattack. So usually in a full 3 turns she will get 6 poisons out on the clan boss, which is a lot of damage in the end. Alright, so let's go back and look at some of these other rare champions in the fusion. Another one you guys probably want to take a look at is this Void champion, Bulwark. So we will go to him in the index, and he is Dors Bulwark. Fantastic champion. So let's read over his skills really quick. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a 15% weaken debuff for 2 turns. This can be booked up to 20, 25, 30% chance. So it is the weaker version of the debuff, but that is also very nice if you're using him in clan boss or even in some dungeon content. It could help get through waves faster and also do more damage on the clan boss. His A2 attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns, and this can be booked up to 100% and a 3 turn cooldown, which is awesome for the clan boss guys. HP burn, similar to a poison, although you cannot stack HP burns, so that is the downside. Alright, And passive. When attacked, has a 30% chance of extending the duration of all debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. This is why he's so great in Clan Boss, guys. He can be used, and whenever the Clan Boss attacks him, say the Clan Boss has 10 stacks of poison on him that each have 1 remaining turn, attacks, and then all those get the chance, 30% chance to extend the debuffs, and now you have 10 more poisons essentially on the Clan Boss. It is a fantastic passive. And on top of that, increases ally defense in all battles by 17%. Bulwark is an amazing rare champion for beginner players, especially in the Clan Boss. That's where most people use him. Alright, just a couple more rares here. So we also have Ragemonger. So we will go to the index. He is a barbarian. Alright, Void champion. He is a little bit harder to get, but he's an okay champion. He's better than most, but since he is a void, that also helps a lot. So his A1 recoup attacks 1 enemy, places a 7.5% continuous heal buff on this champion for 1 turn if the hit is critical. So build his crit rate, he'll sustain himself a little bit. It is the weaker version, but it is a rare champion, so you can expect that much from him. Toxin Flurry is A2, attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 2.5 poison debuff for 2 turns. It is the lower version again of the debuff, and booked out, he only has a 65% chance to land it for 2 times at least. So it's not that great of a move, but better than nothing and pretty good for a rare champion. So his last one, HP Burn. Attacks 1 enemy, has a 40% chance of placing HP Burn debuff for 2 turns. So this is really cool because he is a rare champion and has HP Burn and Poison on him, which you don't see very often, and he has a little bit of survivability in his A1, so that's nice. And he does have an aura, which is increases ally attack in campaign battles by 21%. Not that great. But yeah, so that's everyone I want to talk about in the rares. Let's talk about some of these epics in the fusion. Catacomb Counselor, fantastic epic. I know Hell Hades really likes him whenever he used him for the Clan Boss challenge against Stu Gaming. So let's go to Catacomb Counselor. I believe he is Undead Hordes. There he is. Catacomb Counselor. So let's go through his skills. A1 has a 50% chance of placing a 25% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, then attacks 1 enemy. So it is the weaker version, but that's not really the skill he's known for, obviously. A2 attacks 1 enemy 3 times, heals this champion by 20% of the damage inflicted. So this is nice because it has some survivability. He can be using the Clan Boss because of this move. It helps him stay alive, and it is can be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown, as you can see here. And for the A3, which is what he's known for, teams up with 3 random allies to attack a single enemy. The allies joining the attack will use their default skills. So this is great in Clan Boss, great in Arena. It can be used to clear waves in the dungeons, but maybe not as much. But this is insane in the arena because if you have someone on the enemy team, like say you have a Sifi that you're facing you want to get rid of as soon as possible, use this move with, let's say, like my Mountain King, and using their A1s together will just take out any enemy in the arena. So that's fantastic. Also for the Clan Boss, it's basically like a counterattack in itself. It uses 3 other allies and they all attack at the same time. So super nice ability right here, and it's definitely valuable in a lot of different parts of this game. Alright, and so the last champion I want to talk about before we talk about the legendary, of course, is Umbral Enchantress. Probably the best champion that you can get out of this whole batch. I would even say she is better than the legendary, and you'll see why in a second. So I believe she's in Demon Spawn. Yeah, right here, Umbral Enchantress. Alright, so her A1 attacks 1 enemy, damage increases as current HP decreases. This is super important to realize, guys, because in her later moves, this will be insane. She will do so much damage just from her A1. Also, something notable is she's a defense-based champion with very good defense-based stat. So her A2 attacks all enemies, has an 80% chance of placing block buffs, debuffs for 3 turns. This is a great move for Arena, and it can be booked up to 100% chance. Amazing Arena champion so far. And this is an amazing ability. This is what she's known for. Underlying Evil as her A3. Attacks all enemies, has an 80% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 2 turns, places an unkillable buff on this champion for 2 turns, places a block cooldown skills debuff on this champion for 5 turns. The block cooldown skills debuff cannot be resisted or blocked and cannot be removed. So that is a small downside, but if you think about it, so she provokes the entire enemy team, right? And she places unkillable on herself. So the whole team is attacking her and she's not going to die, which makes her HP very low. So on her next few turns, because she has that block cooldown skills on, she's going to be using the A1. And since her health is going to be at 1% because of that unkillable buff, she's going to be doing a ton of damage from this skill. So she is an amazing champion. I would definitely recommend trying to get her. And if you're not going to do the fusion, definitely get her to level 60. And now let's go to the guys. Now let's go to the main champion here for the fusion. Gerptuk Mossbeard. Kind of a weird name. Polarium likes to do that. Here, let's go to the index so we can see his full stats. He is Ogryn Tribes right here. And there he is. So Mossbeard, I'm just going to call him that. He actually has some reviews already. I'm very surprised. Not super great. Man, I was hoping he was going to be good. Anyways, so his A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, places a 15% continuous heal buff for 1 turn on all allies under poison debuffs. So this is kind of cool, and it synergizes with his A3, and I'll show you that in a second. A2 removes all debuffs from an ally, then heals them by 30% of their max HP and places a shield buff on the target equal to 20% of their max HP for 2 turns. So this is kind of a counterintuitive move on his skill kit, because he does put on here. I'll read this one first and then I'll talk about how his synergy works with all of his moves. A3 places 3 5% poison debuffs on all allies for 3 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked. Also has an 80% chance of placing a block buffs debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. And this can be put up to 100% as you can see, and cools down to 3 turns. Now, why would you want 3 poisons on your guys? And first of all, this, his A1, places 15% continuous heal on everyone that, he has the poisons on, and also his passive. So, allies under poison debuffs inflict 7.5% more damage for each poison debuff on them, stacking up to a maximum of 30%. This damage increase applies to all of their skills. Also increases each ally resist by 15 for each poison debuff on them. So he puts 3 poison debuffs on them, and then multiply this passive 7.5% for each poison debuff. So that's going to be 22.5% extra damage just from this skill on all allies. And it also places block buffs on all the opponents. So this guy seems like he'd be great for Arena. Build him fast, make him go first. Base stats are good. He has right on 100 speed. He has a good defense, good HP. He's not going to be used for attack as much. And he even has some resist in his base stats, so that's nice. And then, of course, he has his aura of increases ally resist in all battles by 50%. By 50, sorry. So, this is what I was confused about. His A2 removes all debuffs from an ally. You don't really want to remove the poisons because they won't be doing as much damage. I guess this is a very niche skill that can be used under certain circumstances in the arena if you have a stun on someone. But yeah, it is kind of weird. It places a shield, which is nice, but I think I would much rather have the extra damage from the poison debuffs. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you're going to use if you're going to do the fusion, and comment below. Definitely subscribe and like this if you're watching it. And thank you guys again. This is Skid signing out.